All right. I believe I am live. Bringing it up now. Yeah. All right. Well, I was gone for a few days. I hope you didn't miss me too much, but I am back and looking to do some more puzzles. I am live. Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and do the first couple while we wait for people to arrive. It's okay. I'll go a little bit slower. Um, Wow, a shockingly hard first oh, it's not on the first puzzle. I'm on 19 or 20, so that was surprising. Okay, so we're picking up here in the middle, I guess. And then maybe I'll do a full one from scratch, depending on how fast this one ends. Looking at something like this to fork the two pieces. If I do, they're going to take me. They take me with check. That looks like a disaster. I don't think that works at all. Almost if I go like take on e1, and then the king runs to h2. This bishop is the wrong color. I can't check him. There's nothing there either. So this one is quite challenging. We do have this in our back pocket of trying to come down and make a queen, but I don't really see. Maybe it is like check, take, king, and then we move the pawn up, and then now it's like, how do they stop the pawn? It's backed up. Yeah, so I think that is the answer. There is a check in the meantime. We just go here though, and it doesn't really do anything. So I think this is it. This is a very weird one. I don't think I've seen that one before. Okay, we got there. This piece is being attacked. This piece is undefended. This king is in the middle. There seem to be three of the big pieces of this puzzle, and then these two are hitting each other, but both backed up. So neither one is an emergency. Also, the check along this diagonal to h4 is available. Easily blocked, but available. So those seem to be the big features. And I feel like just taking here should be right? So we take here, removing one of the features, which was this knight being attacked. So we take away the defender, and then we win the piece. Oh, and then we're going to play on. Seems odd. I think this retreat would be right, but let's see. Is there something more we're supposed to get out of this position? I don't think so. This is kind of an only move. Okay. Our knight is under attack. This would be mate if the queen was not there. We don't have many pieces out. I feel like that's a very defining feature of this position. I think the answer is to use these three like this. Check on f2. We take back with the pawn, and because the knight is doing such glorious work, that's actually a checkmate. So we got there. Here are the white pieces. We cannot check here. That doesn't do enough. But my guess is it's going to be taking advantage of that. Yeah, and the fact that we can take here with a rook protects. At first I thought we were going to be able to use the bishop to come in, but we can't get in there. So we just use the rook, and we deliver checkmate with the king's help. Is this a mating square? That's the question. It's very close. They run away. We go here, check, takes, and because the queen is backing up g6, I believe that works. If the queen wasn't backing it up, that wouldn't work. I think this is going to be check, takes, check, goes back, and then yes, it looks like that's where we get the mate. This is just intuition paying off, right? I've seen enough intuition not paying off because that wasn't a check. That's the problem. If my opponent had taken there, they would have gotten mated. But they would have had this check, which is very close to mate. So what was I supposed to do? What I was supposed to do is reverse the order. Check here, taking away these, and then I believe this is Anastasia's mate. So I took the less forcing route, which gave my opponent options and did not lead to checkmate. That's upsetting. It's unfortunate. It looks like this is going to be it, right? Because there's not anywhere else the king can go but over to here and get mated. And this looks like checkmate. Is there a reason it's not checkmate? No, it's just the easiest puzzle ever. On number 25. I don't know why, but alas, it was. Okay. It's kind of a weird one. So these guys staring at each other seems very important. We can go here, check, win the queen. Is that enough material is my question. So we would be up. We're down a rook right now. So we would go, oops, down a bishop for the queen. So we would be left with a queen, a rook, and a bishop against two pieces and two rooks. So we'd have a slight advantage. That's probably enough. Let's just see if there is more in this position that we can get. That rook is hanging on a1, so we could get our rook back. I don't think that is enough. I think this has to be the answer. We're just going to have to say that's enough material. Doesn't matter what we do here. My gut says to go here so that we can then develop all our pieces. We can't go back. I don't think I want to, like if I move over, rook can come with check. If I go here, maybe that's, oh no, then the rook is hanging. So that's really what is at issue, that the rook would be skewered. Okay. I think it's mate. If we go takes, and then we've got a rook roller situation. They can block, but we just take. All right, 28. That one miss that is haunting us. Isn't this checkmate? Knight f6, taking away one of the escape squares, laying check down. So that is checkmate. This is a weird one where it looks like they have an exposed king. Should be easy to mate them. We have all these heavy pieces, but look, our pieces are all over here. Even our knight is out of play. Only this rook is really involved in the attack at the moment. So can we fix it? I think we can. We'll have to check if we have time. But if we got two free moves, though, that's mate. So if we put the queen on d2, bringing it back into the attack, is that fast enough? They try to block with the rook, we just simply take the rook. If they try to move the e-pawn to get the bishop involved, that's not doing enough. Okay, so that's fine. So then the question is, can they do something aggressive against us? And they cannot. So this is going to lead to mate. So the point was just simply bringing one of the heavy pieces back that was out of play. Okay. I suppose queen takes h6, followed by rook takes g5 is mate. But the first move is not a check. So is it enough? It looks like my opponent actually doesn't have anything really forcing. They can't take on f2. I suppose they could back up g5. I guess they could even do it with the pawn, right? So if we took on h6 and they played g5 attacking our rook, what would we do? Take. Oh, we can't take with the queen. Oh, okay. So now things are getting very interesting. Maybe this plan is flawed. We could also go queen b7, attacking their rook. Doesn't really do that much. They have to leave it. I guess they don't have to leave it on the back rank, because after we check on e8, they can move the king up to g7. Okay. So what we could do is queen takes h6. They play H or F6. And then we could play Queen G6 check and start sort of messing with the king that way. And I think that's just awkward enough that this works. It's not the devastating immediate mate. It's not the immediate pick of the pieces, but it's very overwhelming. All right, so it's white to move. Their king is in a horrible spot. It looks like it's just checkmate with rook to h1, but it's not. This pawn is undefended. So if we go here, they take. Do they get away if I say here? Rook h4. Yes, they can get away to here. And then I would go here. And that actually looks like mate. So let's double check that. Rook h1, king takes g4. Rook h4, check. King g5, check. Bishop f4, check. Oh, no, then the rook hangs. Right? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so the rook would hang. So the question I'm trying to resolve for myself is, do I need to play king f3 first so that they can't take that pawn, and also do I have time to do that? So let's see. If I just move the king up, no, they would take our rook. So that does not work. Okay, interesting. We do not have time to make the quiet move. So we have to calculate a forcing sequence. Most likely that involves rook h1. So rook h1 takes the pawn. I think rook h4 seems right. They go up. And then I can play f4. And f4 looks like mate. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting it to be quite like this. Yeah, because this bishop is cutting off everything else. Okay, well, that worked. The knight is pinned. That seems pretty irrelevant at the moment. We could sack the queen, check. And if we had other pieces to follow up, that could work very well. I don't think that's going to be the answer here. Our pieces are out of play. Our bishop's even under attack. I didn't even notice that. So that's a big issue. What we could do still, though, is play bishop h6, taking advantage of this pin. The knight can't take because it's stuck. If they do nothing, like say take our bishop, we would mate them. So with the bishop here, it causes a lot of problems. I suppose... Oh, they can't. It's still pinned. Still pinned. Knight is still pinned. So they try to move over, it's still mate. If they try to move up, it's takes, mate. So yeah, it looks like this actually works quite well. Just to make sure, do we take? It's not forcing. But it's threatening to win that piece. So that looks good. All right. Okay. This pawn can move, and I can still capture it. And so we're going to resolve this first. And we can look at the square. If I move up, the king can move into the square, thus cut the pawn off. But if I take, and now we look at the square, now the king can't get in. So we have to take. And then when that guy tries for it, we go here. Yeah, we still have enough time to takes, come back, takes. All right, so we're at 34. I'd like to move. I think the answer is going to be this sequence. I've seen this a lot, where it's you would think it would be take with the bishop, but if you take with the bishop, then they could just like move away. Whereas if you take with the queen and they move away, it's mate. So they have to take, and now it's pinned, and then you stick the rook there. And then we get mate. White to move. Okay, so this is a very weird one. We have to mate. And I think we have it. I think we just come up here with the rook. And then if they move their king the only square they can here, we go here, the king pops out, and we get their piece, and we scoop up the pawn. And if they decide to move the rook and like check, then we're fine still. So that's what we will do. And then if they go there, we go here and there. And we can stop the rook or the pawn just in the nick of time. Okay. I mean, we have a nice little double attack, but the queen is covering it. Also, their queen is hanging. Also, our queen is hanging. What? Why is everything hanging? Okay. So it got very complicated very fast. If we take their queen, and they take our queen, we do just come back and take their queen with our knight. So we are gaining a piece in that exchange, and we are up. So we're going to do that. Takes, comes back, and then we just trade. All right, we're at 37. Cooking along. I feel like the answer should be like this, but why can't they just escape? So perhaps the answer is like that. Whoops, here. So this will give our opponent a free move to do anything they want, though. Also, let's make sure this is mate. Yeah, so the other move would be mate. So we move our rook to e3. What do? They can do anything they would like. They can't move their king. The king is just stuck. So that's out of the question. They can't free up any of the escape squares because c5 does nothing. They cannot check us in a way that bothers us. They cannot stop me from moving to e4 with like this. So this works. Okay, they can do that, but that doesn't do anything. Okay, got there. All right, 38. Not bad. Check. Does nothing. Takes. King goes to g7 and looks very safe from there. This is an odd one. We're basically tied in material. Yeah. I mean, we've got king takes bishop. So if we go queen takes, rook takes check there, here, we have over a piece we're up. So I think that's worth it. I mean, I'm not super comfortable. Like this position, I wouldn't be that comfortable in. All my pieces are disconnected. My opponent's got a queen. There's forks all over, but I think it's technically better. This looks like it's going to be mate. If we go here, check. I guess there's several ways out, but material's even. So if they takes. Wait, it doesn't work at all. That doesn't work even a little. But what does work a lot is this crafty little move. Check here, actually forking them. If they take with the rook, then it's mate. That's a nice little clever move. And the question actually is, do we want to take here? And we don't. I think we want to go here first. And then go here. And then at the end, we'll nab the queen, just for maximum wreckage. Or as I almost said, stealing Andres' toss word, maximum carnage. But I didn't want to steal his phrase. I'll definitely credit him there. We've got our forcing move, queen e4. Probably everyone jumped on that immediately. I don't know if that... Maybe it works. We need the time for the quiet move d6. But even then, they could do rook e8. And I'm not sure that works. So what else is going on in this position? Not much. It's kind of a weird one. Our rook on f1 is doing nothing. I can't really bring it into the game in an effective way. Our knight is not doing much and is being attacked. I suppose if we went something like queen e4 check, king d8, and then went like knight c4. Well, I guess knight d6 isn't that great. The king can still escape on c7. Hmm. I'm looking at every move I can think of. We've got a pin on b5, which seems to do nothing. We could move the pawn first, which would be rather powerful if we got to go e4, check, e7. These are queen moves. Queen e7, check, win the rook. But if we just move d6, our opponent can do so many things. Also, they can block the check, then on e6. So I think what we're doing is checking. I'm pretty sure we're going to move this pawn up to threaten to take the rook, which means they have to do something pretty major immediately. Yeah, I'm going to go here. Oh, that does not seem like a good move. It's very close to mate, but it's not quite. But I think we just... Oh, we can't take there anyway. The knight is covering it. Okay, well that makes my whole calculation much worse. Alrighty. Now what? Oh, now we have the check over here. So if this check, the king is forced to come this way. Then we take here. Okay, so now we get our rook into the game with some action. Alright, we're at 41. We're cooking along. Our queen is being attacked. First thing to note. And our rooks aren't really helping with any sort of mating attacks. That's also pretty important. And our bishop is kind of stuck on the side. As Under the Surface would say, it's like Karpov's billiard balls. If you haven't read that chapter of Under the Surface, what it's essentially saying is bishops are weird. Once you move it to the side of the board, it can be really hard to get it to the other side of the board. Like it's going to be very hard to get this bishop back into some sort of attack. We'd have to move this, come back. Our opponent has things they can do to try to prevent that. Maybe they can try to control those squares. We could try to come back this way, but everything's kind of awkward. This position's a little more open, and maybe it's viable, and maybe that is what we're going to do. But we also have our queen being attacked. I don't think any queen check sacrifices are going to work, because like I said, our pieces are too far removed from battle. What we do have, though, is the nice idea, I feel like, of a rook lift here to very quickly bring the rook in. But the question is, can we even keep our queen on this file? Like, if we go here, that, first of all, blocks this idea of the rook lift. Second of all, they could go here. We would go here. Then this pawn is blocking the idea of the rook lift. So I don't think that rook lift is what we're looking at. I think probably just taking the pawn with the queen is the best option. It puts some pressure on g7. I don't know if that's enough. Maybe even better, though, is checking here. Forcing the king out a bit. Can we take advantage of that? We could check here on h5. Not sure that matters. Okay, if we take on g4 and they take on e6, we get to take back on e6 with a queen with check. Again, it's unclear that any of that really matters. Material count. Wow. We're actually down a piece right now, too. So we need... Well, but the pawns are 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a weird position. So we're down a piece. We're up a couple pawns. We can take a couple more pawns. We get kind of an attack, but not a real attack. Also, their knight is starting to just take b4. I didn't realize that. So if we take the knight, do we relocate? Like, do we dislocate that queen in a good way? The queen is the only piece backing up that bishop, so that seems important. But I'm not attacking the bishop, and it's going to be very hard to attack the bishop. Unless I do something like check, and then bring a rook over to attack it, but then they have time to fix problems. So I'm really struggling to figure out what I am supposed to do with this. Ah, I do see something good. If I take here, here, check, moves, takes, bishop hangs. The problem is, instead the rook, the king could just move that. So I'm going to move here and take, and I was not sure that was right. I wasn't sure at all. I think probably this f takes, or e takes f7 is right. But I couldn't figure out how it was right or why it was right, so it felt foolish just to do it. I guess I'm taking? No. I'm checking. Okay. So by checking, I see now. I can come over here then, hit the knight a second time, win the knight. Okay. So not the hardest puzzle in the world, but for some reason I was unable to find it. Okay, white to move. We're on 41. We've got 2 misses. No more misses allowed. We've got queen d8 check as a very forcing move. Looks quite promising. After they move the king up, we go queen e7 check, but then they can hide on h6. But then we can't check them with a queen on f8. And then they go king h5. And all of our other pieces are out of the game. It's unclear to me how we mate from there. But it feels quite clear to me that queen d8 is the right first move. Ah. No, it doesn't work. I was thinking maybe after king g8 or king g7 we could come over here and check and cut off this diagonal, but then they just take us. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the right move is just take with the rook, setting up mate. Let's see what happens if we try that. That doesn't work, because then they can just move the knight. And then there's no mate threat. In fact, they're attacking the rook. So, and they're like threatening mate. So we don't really have any choice but to go here. Like, we're in a game, we got to make this move work. And we have a couple ways to do this, so one of these must work. We have like 3 different ways to do this. One is to take here. They get forced over here. And then we already calculated that we can't quite see how that wins. But we do have this idea. Taking here, here, checking, driving him up, and then the rook takes here. And now that is going to be mate. So this is how we do it. Okay, so I wasn't able to see it all the way from the beginning. But from the beginning, I could see the position was so dire that was really our only hope. We have the double check with the knight. The question is, where do we want the knight? I would assume we want it on f3 so that they cannot escape to the d file. It's completely cut off. It feels like a standard pattern, but it doesn't feel like it quite works. Okay, yeah, so I guess we need to go the other way. So if we go knight d3, it's cutting off that whole escape square plan. So it's like here, and then regardless of where this guy goes, when the knight moves, the king has to go there. It's the only... Well, not necessarily. The bishop could go here. So if we go here, let's say here, can we stop? Yeah, we could go here, stopping this, but then they could go here. So maybe the better idea is just knowing we have this in our pocket and we can always win their queen. So maybe we're just winning the queen here. So let's see. Can we get a mate, or are we just winning the queen? I think maybe we can get a mate, actually, with another double check. We double check here. If they try to block, we just take. And then the same problems are going to happen. If they go here, we can't stick our queen there. So if we go here after this, I guess we can't mate them. I think we just have to win the queen. Is that enough material? Oof, they're up 2 pieces right now, and they're going to go up in exchange. It feels like we should mate them here. How do we mate? Ah, I see how we mate. We mate by going knight e1, cutting off the main escape square. And then it's check everywhere. All they can do is block. We take... Oh, the problem is they can block here 2 different ways. Huh. Maybe that doesn't work. Let's see. Let's try the double check again. There. I don't see a way to win. If we go here, which I thought won, they bring the bishop up, and we do not win. Wow. Okay. What about bishop takes... Sorry, knight takes bishop check. That still actually doesn't work. They could just run to c2. The knight is covering d2 now. My goodness, this is complicated. It feels like an easy one, but there ends up being so many different geometrical possibilities, and I can't quite make any of them work. And I don't think taking the queen is enough. So check, take the queen. Oh, especially not since our queen is hanging. I totally missed that. So our queen is actually hanging. Ah, I think I finally found it. I think we probably go here first. This is check. Sends him into the corner. Then what? There's no discoveries anymore. Ah, there's this move. Queen takes, and that's actually mate. Whew. Okay. That was an interesting one that I really struggled with. But we got there. So that's 43. They're about to queen, so I feel like we don't have a choice there, right? We just have to take. Daniel, what is up, my friend? I hope things are going well. Takes, and then if takes, we're gone. So if takes here, then we're just going here, and then eventually we'll be able to run with that. So we're just going to go here. Yep. We go there, we go here. They can never bring that king down or we run away. But it's not quite true. We need to go here first. Because otherwise if we run, then he goes here and he actually queens. So we're going to go here first to stop it, and now they can't stop this pawn. The pawn's gone, and we've got their pawn bottled up. Okay. Queen check on b4. Use one option to move over. If check, 2 options. And both seem fine, though we could potentially skewer, or not skewer, fork the king and the queen if that king gets lured to the right square and we're backing it up. Which seems like a big if right now. I don't see another move. Like, I feel like it has to be queen b4. It would be nice to figure it out more before walking into that. Let's see. So we go queen b4. They have an only move. No, they have two choices. But both of them involve us being able to either go there or go here. Let's look at the queen first. Comes over there. Escapes out this hole. Let me see this. Queen check. He moves over. Rook goes over. Queen. Oh, the rook will be hitting that also after the move. There. Yeah, I mean, this has to be the first move, and I am struggling a bit with the second move. I think it's rook, but now that we're here, I'm going to take another look at it. The nice thing about rook coming over is that we have this picking up of the bishop, and we're hitting that rook, and our queen is not hanging. So all those together seem pretty strong. And now we're also on this. So I'm looking at like here. They're not going to be able to get that in. Let's see what that way. If queen takes the bishop, king takes rook, queen takes rook, what's the material like? So we're currently down a piece. I think we're just even now. We are just even. Boom, boom, boom. Check. And then I'm also forking that. Even though they're hitting this and they're threatening this. Holy moly. I think we need to go for a mate here. I think there's too much happening just to try to take some material. Let's say we go rook takes d5. I thought it was automatically recapture, but they don't probably. They probably play queen a8. So the most obvious forcing move then would be queen c3, but it allows what I was worried about before, which is the king escaping. But I guess this way at least we get the piece. It escapes. But then we have options, right? We could either do this, or we could come over. So I think, well, also what if they go here? And block. That actually looks like it would work decently well. Looking if I can make that fork happen somehow with that check. Doesn't look like it. Wow. This is very complicated for seeming so easy. Like, I think it is not that hard. I think I'm making it complicated somehow. It is a last miss, so I don't really want to miss it. Okay, so queen c3. There's only one move to come down here. No, that's not true. That was the whole problem. They could play the rook here or the bishop. And that's where things get tricky. At that point, we could check there, but then the queen just takes. What about... No, that doesn't work. I was going to say rook e2 check, but the knight would take. Well... Back to rook takes d5. They check. I move the king. They take my rook. I don't know. I don't think that's enough. I mean, I guess I have to calculate it all the way, right? So it's takes. Check. King moves there. So we're even. I'm still down a piece. At that point, I can come in here and check. Or maybe I just take here, and I'm even. The problem is even after here, maybe they don't go here. Maybe they do something else first. Maybe they take here first. I feel like this has to be the move. Has to. Queen c3. But I cannot make it work. Rook. There. I can take the bishop, then they take my rook. All right, I'm gonna go here. I couldn't quite make it work. This looks very promising now. Because after I go takes here, that should be working. Okay, so I don't think that, I don't know. YouTube didn't notify me that I was live. Oh no, that's too bad. Maybe it's because I didn't do this for a couple days because I was on vacation, and so now YouTube is like, you are dead to everyone. The algorithm has decided you no longer exist. Seems like a YouTube thing. Rook here to d7 is interesting. Forking, hitting there. Doesn't quite lead to mate. I was looking at queen h6. That doesn't need to mate either because the queen is backing it up. We're actually in some danger with this. I don't think... I guess that is pretty big danger. They win the rook. I think the answer is a rook. No, a rook sack's not going to work. I was thinking rook sack on g7, but they can actually just take with the queen. They can't take with the queen because then I would play rook g7, rook g3, which would be pretty good. If they were to move out of the way, I would... Oh, yeah, okay. So this is quite strong. We're actually forking the pieces. So they have to do something. They could just take with the king, though. Let's say they take with the king. And I play rook check. And they move into the corner. Then what? I don't see anything there. If I move rook over to g3, then I'm threatening to win the queen. But they could just go like rook f7 and say, no, you're not. So, yeah, I'm definitely struggling with this one. I think what I'm going to go with is rook d7. Also, I think I said that this worked. This does not work. Rook d7 has to be the answer. And, okay, I get to pick up a queen if I want. Is that enough? I think so. Oh, we're still playing. Okay. It's not enough. Not enough for the win, though. So maybe it's because I've got this queen fork. And then that really picks up a lot of material. Okay. Yeah, rook d7 was my first impression as well. And then for some reason, I thought they could come in and attack me. And it was ridiculous. Wait, how is this not just... Okay. For a second there, I thought it was queen takes f2 checkmate. It's not. The rook is backing it up. Okay. And we're down in exchange. But we do have this check. It cannot take because of the pin. I'm not sure that does anything, though. I was looking at different places to put the rook, but none of those seem to do anything. We could slide the rook over, but I think that's not that great. Like, so what? I've given up my queen. I haven't gotten enough. Okay, another interesting idea is to put the queen on f3, threatening checkmate there. If they move the king over, then what? Then I come over here, check. They put the king... No. I check with the rook. It's like this. Rook would be mate. Okay, so what can they do? They've got to move. Got a single move to stop me from both winning this rook and mating, or mating the other way. Okay, so what if they play rook g1? Then I check with the knight on h2. So this is going to win. There's no checks. There's no huge threats. That is too many threats to deal with. And then that's game. 47! Yep, Daniel's got it. 47. Okay, we're narrowing in. And that one was 2580. So the puzzles are going to get trickier and trickier now. We do have this check and this check. Neither work currently. We have this check, which, I don't know, doesn't seem to do that much, right? Like this knight can't even follow up and check on either of those squares. We could go check. I guess if they go there, then nothing. No, we could go here. So if check and then they go to e7, I could come back to g5, and what if they repeated? What would my move be there? So my queen is on g5. So we're down in exchange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're down in exchange and a pawn. So in a real game, any drawing line would be like, yeah, okay, that's the line. I feel like we should be able to win here. Our pieces are so well placed. Okay, what I'm looking at now is a quiet move of queen f6. Rook down to g8. The problem is they have that escape square on d7, but that doesn't help as much. Well, maybe it's fine. Like a check. They have that square back there, which actually loses the queen. So yeah, that does seem reasonable. But if I go here, they can do anything they want, including just move the king to d7 now. But that doesn't actually fix any of their problems. The same thing happens. They lose. Oh, wait. Don't they just lose now to that? No, because they can go here. They don't have to get forced back. So, if I go here, here loses. I go here. Is there any cool checks? They could take there. They would still lose. All right, we're going to go here and say quiet move wins. Woo! We got there with a quiet move. If king runs, you take an f7 check and then 4. Yep. Okay. Here we are. Right on the cusp of our goal of 50. And this one looks like it should be very easy. It's not, apparently. First thing I'm looking at is queen is cutting this off. Pawns are holding this area. So this is a pretty typical pattern to force the king and then to like take here with a rook and get mate. It's not going to work quite right here. So here, and then what? If we go here and check, the king can come down to h4. It's only move. Then we come over with the rook and we lose the rook to the queen. We could go. Wait, what? Let's not lose the rook to the queen. The queen's covering this diagonal. Okay, but I think I might see something better anyway. Here, check with the queen here. If the king moves down, this will mate because the queen will be covering it. If the king moves up, that will still be mate. Okay, so we go here, there, and I'm going to check one more time that that is indeed going to lead to mate. Check there. Yeah, this works. And it's because this pawn is saving us. Okay, 49. Can we get our new record? That would be nice. That would be fun. Okay. Looking at like bishop takes a6 and then trying to do some sort of double attack. I'm also looking at, okay, if we wanted to do a double attack, actually, we could just go here, except for we can't. This is pinned. Okay. So we do have some interesting ideas of like queen here with this skewer. The king doesn't have that many squares to go, but also there's not much we can do. So what if we went here? King has one move to move back to c7. Then I take the rook. It is not check. Now what? Now I think my opponent has queen f1. Wherever I move, follow up by taking the bishop. It's check. I'm on the defensive. Best case scenario, I escape and I am down a piece. Because right now we're down a rook. I don't think that quite works. Nope. I was about to look at queen e8, but that hangs the queen to the rook. So there's not a lot of moves that even seem viable. Unless we're going for a very quiet move. I Feels like queen d5 is the only move. There's not a follow-up check. There's only bishop takes a6 or queen takes a8. Bishop a6 does not seem intriguing to me because they'll just play rook a6 and then what? Okay, then I have queen c4 check, but then they just move over, guard the rook. I don't see a way to pick up the rook here. I don't see any other possibility. Like if I was playing this as a game, I would have to play queen d5 and try to figure it out from there. Okay, well there you go. Queen d5 is not the answer. I'm kind of shocked by that, to be honest. I don't have any idea what it could be if it's not queen d5. There's no way a quiet move works here. I guess there's this tricky idea that I didn't look at. I don't think that would work. Takes, check. Does skewer the piece. Maybe that works. Okay, so it's not there. Is there a way to mate here? Yes, this is mate. There we go. Let's see, did Daniel find it? Yep, Daniel found it. Nice job, Daniel. So, not bad. I got to 49. It was in my grasp. And I knew my answer didn't seem right. I just couldn't figure out the right answer. The funny thing is I thought I had looked at every single move. And there was one single move I didn't look at. That check. Well, not one single move. There was lots of quiet moves, but they just didn't work. Well, that was fun. That was interesting. We got pretty deep into that one. 49. Let's see. I think we'll play one blitz game before we head out. Let me make sure I don't have to go right away. No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I know. So close. It'll have to be tomorrow. It'll just have to be tomorrow. Simple as that. Okay. We'll play a blitz game and head down the road. Okay. Ooh, we get to play a Sicilian. Oh, an open Sicilian? Wow. So this is one of the main sidelines at the Sicilian. They call it the Najdorf. They're going to play the English attack. So we're going to do this. I assume they're going back there. Okay. We're going to plug the hole here. And then when they do that, we play h5. So they can't just jam g4 in our face and win immediately. Okay. So they're still going to go with... They're just pretending like I didn't play h5. Now, the thing is, I don't know that much theory. So I'm going to play reasonable looking chess with ideas like here, here, here. But the move order, I don't know. I don't know if it matters. So we're going to go here first. This way we have some flexibility with this. Okay. We're going to play b5 because I know I want to play b4. Letting me have a free b4. Very interesting. A free b4 means the knight jumps in, I take, they take, and then I guess I back up this pawn, and then I probably push forward. I think that's how that would play out. Is that what I want? Yeah, I guess so. I think that looks fine. Oh, that's right. And oftentimes in this, I'm going to play g6 and bishop g7. So it was good that I didn't put the bishop there. Oh, I was not expecting that. Okay. So if they do that, this pawn is hanging. Do I go here? This all seems pretty safe. So sure, I'll protect that pawn. I'll take a moment. Alright, this would be hanging if I move that knight. Okay, interesting. I think I should probably load up here. Hitting that. Seems reasonable. I'm going to probably go here next. Since he left, you can't put the knight here anyway. That seems reasonable to me. really a little unsure of how I'm supposed to set my pieces up. And in fact, no, okay. I was thinking maybe if they take here, it'd be a big problem. But I think it's fine. Whoa, what is that? Bishop here. Huh. I can't put my knight here. It's guarded 1,000 times. Kind of a weird setup. I don't know what to do. This is the problem of playing an opening you don't know and don't have the reps in. For some reason, I really want to take there, and I don't think that's right. Can I push here now? On it twice. I'm on it twice. I don't know. I'm going to take here. I don't know that that's right. Feels like it doesn't really accomplish that much. Oh. No, never mind. Wow, I'm really low on time because I'm really having so much trouble figuring out what I'm supposed to do. Okay, that was a very weird play. Hanging the piece. Okay. What? What makes you think you can hang that piece? If I go here, they take, I take, they take. I can't because the queen is stuck. Let me just go here, and then I can. Oh, I can't go there. We're stuck some more. Okay, so some interesting stuff is happening for sure. My king is kind of stuck here. I'm gonna go here. That's not a good move. Oh no, that's fine actually. But they can go there with their bishop, and then I'll have to figure something out. Yeah. I guess I come back. Now they can take here. But I will take them because I'm up enough material. That's fine. I think that trade works out. But my pieces are a bit scattered. I don't love how they're working together against a queen. I'm going to try to get castled if I can. It seems like a pretty decent priority. This pawn might end up being a big liability. I might just have to let it go. Yeah, let's castle. I think I'm going here next. Yeah, we'll go here. Takes, and then this is threatening to trade something off. They'll have to decide what they want to do. Get more material off. Probably try to double the rooks on the C file, or maybe even on the D file. Now that's just wide open. Very low on time. No, I'll go this way, so I can just immediately double. And these guys are helping each other, so that's nice. Though this is coming. It's going to disrupt that. Ooh, and then where's that poor knight go? Yeah. It goes here. So I can go there. All my pieces look so loose for like one move. And then it's going to be here, here, and then stuff doesn't look as loose anymore. Yeah, that seems like a strong move. I think I can go here, though. Back it up. Although this is annoying. My pieces continue to be a little bit looser than I would like. Okay, comes in that way. I can go here. I think I see some problems with this and this and this. Okay, I can go here. I actually can't threaten that because of the bishop. Whoops. But I think I can go here. If I go here, maybe I just go there. Maybe that's fine. It's covering that mate threat. Sort of holding everything together. I think that's what I'll do. My opponent's lower than me now. That's amazing. Okay, they take. Oh, I can't take. I guess I take this way. And then that's mate. Okay, well, I probably shouldn't have gone that direction. At least the other direction we have an interesting game. I'm not sure that they get away, but it'll be interesting. Okay. Let's see. Looks like no comments on the game, so let's take a look at it. See what the engine thinks about it. There's a couple moves where I'm unsure. Okay, so this is all theory for me up to... not even up to here, right? Here I wasn't entirely sure. I thought about moving the bishop, but I don't know that that's the theory move. Because I think... Okay, so it's still considered theory. Let's check. The Explorer says that by far, without a doubt, this is the best move. Okay. Then they castle. Your knight is pinned. Not sure what we're talking about. And then I play b5 here. And b5 is fine. The number one book move is rook c8, which, you know, makes some sense. We're on here. The queen has to keep guarding this piece, because let's say the queen does something weird and goes here. Or probably just... Nope, sorry, not there. Goes here. We can just take, and we'll be in good shape. They'll take back, and then... Yeah, they're not losing right away, but their structure is a mess in front of the king. They don't want to do that. Alright, so let's go back. Bishop b6 or knight b6 looked like it would hurt. Okay, we'll have to see what you're talking about. But yeah, I think there were a few spots where I feel like I didn't play great. Okay, this seemed fine. Again, I was a little surprised by that. I thought they would come into the middle. I would trade. They would take. And then we have this structure. And then I have to play a5 to stop that. And then we're here. They kept all the pieces on the board. And I went here. The engine does not like very much. Bishop b5, which I think they did in the game. Engine says instead, what if we just go here to guard? Which feels very weird to me, since I want my rook here on c8. So that feels like a hard move for me to find. I don't have the reps to know. Oh, and then going here is just ball game apparently. Oh, okay. So the point is they didn't even have to back up the bishop because it's already backed up. Well, that doesn't look like it works to me. So first of all, I could go here and move out of the way, which seems fine. Oh, I guess they get this. So what if we go here first? Oh, we can't. It's pinned. It's pinned. So we have to move over. They take. They're going to take here. Now it's a disaster. What's funny, though, is if they do, it's kind of like, you know, okay, but like all the pawns are out of the way. I do have kind of an attack. So I think practically in a blitz game, this is bad for me, like quite bad. But there's chances. I could go here, castle. Now I have two rooks on this king with no pawns of mine in the way. Maybe I can push through, but yeah. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Daniel. There was a lot there that I missed. Okay, so he missed it as well. And then, yeah, this was a weird move. It was like, wait, what? I took your piece. You know I took your piece, right? And he was like, yeah, you can take another one. Very strange. Also, oh yeah, the reason I didn't go here is I was afraid of this move. But I don't know why I'm so afraid of that move, right? I just move over now, and it seems totally fine. But I was definitely afraid of that, so I went this way. And then... Oh, interesting. So this move does work. Okay. So I looked briefly at d5 and just kind of went like, I don't know, like, look at this. They've got so much on it. There's no way d5 can work. But apparently it works fine. Which is weird, because there is no way it can work. But what you do, I guess, is you say, okay, well, now let's move over. And we'll just close off that file. And now everything's fine. Now we're the only one attacking. Interesting. I went here, went back, and then they took there, and I just decided, well, that's fine. We can just take. I have a material advantage, and hopefully this will be enough to carry the day. This was, Peter doesn't like. Interesting. He wants to put the knight there. Okay, so it was a mistake to take. I didn't feel like they had many options there. The other options like g5, I go here, they have to take, and then I move the knight. Seems pretty analogous to what happened in the game. And here I'm barely winning. The engine says it's basically a draw if they play G6. And I was kind of looking at how weird this would get. Like if I take here, which I can't because it's even pinned, so I also can't push. Yeah, that gets very awkward in a hurry. Okay. Yeah, I guess I wasn't quite seeing that. And then they moved off of the pin, and then it's like, oh, well, then you're fine. If they're going to give up the pin, then it's no problem at all. And then we did the mate. Interestingly, this is not mate this way either. Let's see, how does it look here? They can't go there. They have to go here. And this is holding off, and that's holding off. So we end up getting there. Okay. Well, we got there. Amazing your opponent didn't play 8 takes B3. Let's see, what are we talking about? 8 takes B3. Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, way back when they just moved the rook up instead, and they were like, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that was some wild stuff. Which pawn stack are you talking about? Their pawn stack or mine? I don't even know which one we're talking about. Or are you talking about the D5 move? Yeah, that's probably what you're talking about, where we could have played D5. When I took with the knight. Not even sure where we're at, but that's okay. Oh, the engine line. Got it. Yeah. So, interesting stuff. This, once again, kind of tells me, like, some things I've been noticing about the Najdorf is that supposedly it is incredibly theoretical and you have to have endless book knowledge to play it. I don't think that's true. I think it is true at a high level. But I think I've played Rapid and Blitz with it a bunch now just to kind of test it out. And I don't know that much theory. Like I was out of theory pretty early there. Where was I out of theory? I was out of theory on move here. Move 9. And the Najdorf starts on move 6. So basically 3 moves of theory. I was out. This just looked like a good move. And I just played moves that looked good and was fine. Right? Like I wasn't lost. Here I was lost because I made a terrible mistake not seeing this. But the point is that that's not as much theory. My opponent's playing some weird moves. It's just I didn't react well. But even my opponent didn't find the move. But I guess my point is that I don't feel like my lack of opening knowledge is as crushing as I thought it would be trying to play something like the Najdorf that is so theoretical. And that's definitely one of the things that's kept me from playing something like the Najdorf is that fear that, like, I don't know what's happening. My opponent knows all the moves, and then they crush me. And I just don't feel like that's been happening. And maybe it's because my blitz rating is just low enough. It's like just under 1,500. And, you know, I play a lot of my games, my Lichess Rapid games. I'm like just under 2,000 there. And I don't know. It just feels like you can. I guess my point is, I think you can play almost any opening you want with minimal knowledge, and just play chess, and you'll be okay. Even if it is something that is thought to be theoretical and sharp, most people don't go into the main theory anyway, right? So like, I feel like, first of all, I'm already out of book with something like this. I went in the wrong order. And then this is very unusual. Like, even the engine is like, ugh, I don't really like that. If we go to theory, that's not even in the master database, right? We're already out of theory with this move. Just this bishop move is not fitting theory. And then this is also, like, they're all, now we're just out of theory. Now we're just playing chess. So I don't know. I guess if we can have one takeaway of this game, to me, it is that theory is great. I'm not saying theory is bad, but theory is a bit overrated, and don't necessarily steer clear of an opening because it has a lot of theory and you need to know all the theory. I don't know. I'm not sure how much I'm buying that at the amateur level. I think once you get to, like, even maybe as low as 1,800, theory becomes more important. I'm talking 1,800 USCF. I feel like at that spot, people seem pretty well versed. But below that, they have their lines. They're going to crush you sometimes with some really good, deep opening theory, but not usually. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to head out. I think we might go get some ice cream. Don't be too jealous. All right. I'll see you later, everybody. Goodbye. Have a good one.